In this video, we're going to talk about the Packers' latest addition on defense. Also, this week, we have been taking a look at the Packers defensively as far as free agents goes heading into 2024. Yesterday, we looked at edge rushers for the Packers. Today, we're going to look at inside linebackers. But before I get into it, if you like the content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it. The Packers' latest addition is Vince Ogabasi as the defensive line coach, coming at no surprise to me, and I'm sure most of you guys. Let's read what this article says. It says the Green Bay Packers defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley has begun assembling his coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball. The first reported addition will be Vince Ogabasi, who will take over as the defensive line coach, according to Tom Silverstein of the Journey Sentinel. The position was previously held by Jerry Montgomery, who was also the run game coordinator in 2023. Montgomery had been in Green Bay since 2015, making him the longest tenured coach on the Packers through last season. Montgomery has now reportedly joined the New England coaching staff to coach the interior defensive line. Oh, by the way, Joe Barry is now with the Miami Dolphins. Good luck, Miami. Ogabasi has been the defensive line coach at Boston College since 2020, the same year that Hafley took over as head coach. Prior to that, Ogabasi was the defensive line coach at UCLA from 2018 to 2019 and the assistant defensive line coach with the San Francisco 49ers in 2016 to 2017, spending time with Hafley there as well. Obviously, coming as no surprise, I really like the move because I think the Packers really need to clean house defensively to just help morale, boost morale there, get everybody buying into the same program. And that is going to be Jeff Hafley's program. Again, comes as no surprise, but I'm super excited about it because I think we're going to see a whole lot of different defensive schemes coming into this season. And I'm super excited. Interior, how are they going to be able to stop the run? All of that stuff. Okay, so when we start talking free agents for the Packers, let's jump into it. And when we start talking inside linebackers for the Packers under contract is Devondre Campbell, Quay Walker, Isaiah McDuffie, and Christian Young. Free agents for the Packers are Eric Wilson and Christian Welch. That being said, Devondre Campbell, let's talk about that guy a second here because we know that he was plagued with injuries this last season. And there was also, we saw the emergence with his injuries of Isaiah McDuffie, who showed himself to be a very capable second linebacker to pair with Quay Walker. This means that Campbell might be on his way out. If Campbell exits, the Packers will likely need to make an addition via free agent and the draft. Wilson and Welch were very key guys for them on special teams. Both those guys free agents. I think they add one of those two guys back. I think it's going to be Wilson. I hope it's Wilson. Devondre Campbell, though, going back to him, he is the 8th highest contract on this Packer squad at $14.2 million, while set to earn $10.75 million in cash. Campbell has 3 years left on his contract that he signed back in 2022, but is likely on his way out of Green Bay. I think, especially after last year's season, Campbell will be set to be 31 years old in July and doesn't look close to the same player who earned that 5-year extension back in 2021, his all-pro season. A pre-June cut would create $2.6 million, but if the Packers thread the needle between March 13th, when the 24 season technically begins, and March 15th, when his $2.9 million roster bonus is due, they can designate Campbell as a post-June 1st release and create $10.6 million total cap savings in June. I think that's what Brian Gutekunst is going to end up doing. They would have to carry some of his contract, though, through June 1st, but then the Packers would net overall net cash and net capital gains that they can better invest elsewhere. This leaves Quay Walker and Isaiah McDuffie coming back on the rookie deals. Christian Young as that safety linebacker hybrid on the roster as well. But expect to see the Packers looking to the draft. Speaking of the draft, when we start doing mock drafts, all of that stuff, let's see who the Packers are slated to take. Potential slated to take would be Junior Collison out of the University of Michigan as an inside linebacker. If it says right here, he started all 15 games at linebacker in this past season, led the team with 95 tackles, including 2 for loss, and 2 quarterback hurries, 2 pass breakups, and earned a third varsity letter. Another guy that the Packers, when we start doing these mock drafts, another guy is Edgerrin Cooper, who I personally would rather have. I really like this dude. I think he's going to be an absolute stud in the NFL. But it says right here, he started all 12 games, was second on the team with 8 tackles, including 3 for loss of 9 yards, and added 2 hurries against New Mexico. This dude does a lot. He flies all over the field. If you haven't watched some film on Edgerrin Cooper, watch some film on this guy. I personally like this dude a lot. That would be my vote for the Packers as to who they could potentially draft or get in the draft. Let me know your thoughts. Who should the Packers be looking at in the draft? Again, this was the mock draft. Those are the 2 guys that the Packers were slated to draft according to mock draft as inside linebackers, and that is in the 3rd round. That being said, I think that the Packers need to potentially look at the 2nd round to get their middle linebacker, because that's going to be an important piece, especially when we start looking at Hafley's defense, obviously safety, offensive line, all of those things. But let me know your comments. Who should the Packers get at middle linebacker? Also, should they part ways with Devondre Campbell? I really think that Brian Gutekunst is going to end up going that way. I think that's the way that they do need to go to free up some cap space. Go Pack, go.